majestic lobby, blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to International Affairs. Of course, I am joined by Mr. Ali Ahmed in the studio, while there is Norman Floyd Barnes joining us from Washington, D.C. I want to go to Washington, D.C. I have a very important question. Today, the very same territories in the Caribbean Ocean are coming into an entire confrontation mode, especially with the capture of Nicolas Maduro and family members. I want to talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. It was a 13-day confrontation in October 1962 between the United States and the Soviet Union that brought the world to the brink of nuclear annihilation. It remains the most dangerous moment in the Cold War and a defining lesson in crisis management, deterrence and diplomacy. Today, Donald Trump is talking about Cuba. Today, Donald Trump is talking about Colombia. The leader of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, as well, was there in the UNGA 80 trying to call out to the National Guard for a dissent against the ruler or against the US President Donald Trump. Even he is inspired from the comments of Donald Trump that he is making. And of course, Donald Trump is making all of these comments from his residence in Mar-a-Lago. So over there now that effectively is becoming a war room. I want to come to Norman Floyd Barnes. Is this a repeat of history that we've seen in the Cuban Missile Crisis? Is such a situation very imminent?
Absolutely. What we're seeing is a repeat of history. Apparently, we haven't learned from our previous endeavors and mistakes. This is a similar situation and is in a region that is very volatile. Cuba is involved with Venezuela for a reason. The Chinese, the Russians, and North Koreans are in support of Venezuela. Why? Because this country is strategically located close to Venezuela. Sounds like we had the same situation in Cuba. The countries of Venezuela do have access to advanced weapons that can hit the United States. They have them already. So the situation is very similar, very, very, very closely resembling the situation we have with the Bay of Pigs. Right now, we have a situation where the president is stating that we control Venezuela and we're going to put all companies there, and there's a possibility of us have a long-term occupation by our military. Well, the point when we put military in Venezuela, there will be problems. You see what happened with the Bay of Pigs. It was not very good for the United States. This will cause a domino effect over the region, the world, and in our open seas. Trade itself is going to stop. We have a lot of trade that comes from South America and moves around the world that goes over to Asia, Europe, Russia, and whatever. Russia and China is not going to let their economy go down because the United States is putting up a blockade. It's not going to happen. So you're going to see a lot of talking, a lot of communications, and a lot of movement of military and equipment over the next couple of weeks. Everybody's trying to get in a position where they have their strategic advantage. And the United States is aware of this. They have plans in place to deal with this. The president mentioned about the second strike if the interim president, Rodriguez, do not adhere to his demands. She has changed her story from pro, negative, back to pro again, because she knows that she will be the next one coming to New York. So we have to be very, very conscious that that's a hotbed. What's going on? What's happening down there? It's a situation where it's almost it's a desperation process that we're dealing with down there. The Trump administration feels that they have to take control of this oil reserve in that region. Is for the purpose of the economics. We have to have control of that. At the same time, the BRICS nation is also looking at a circumvention, a workaround, and the United States is aware of it, that we will basically isolate the United States and create our own currency and manner. So that is not going to go well with the Trump administration. But we have issues now because we are now looking at land grab. Okay, you're going to take over Venezuela. China said, well, okay, well, why can't we take over Taiwan?
Correct.
Russia said, well, why won't we just finish this thing in Europe? We take over Europe. So right now, no one can stop it. Nothing is in place. The United Nations basically is outdated, serves no purpose. It has gone too far. The movement has started. Each country is now looking at self-preservation, and they must do what's necessary to protect their interests. Because if they don't, we have another situation like Venezuela. The United States is not the only country that has the ability to do this. So we're going to be looking at a hot and heavy 2026 as people do the readjustments. Self-preservation is the key right now. And the United States is using that mantle themselves. We're trying to preserve the integrity of the United States. So we're going to provide a Western Hemisphere. We're going to oversee what's happening, and we're going to use the Monroe Doctrine as a reason for us to protect our interests. So everybody has a perspective. We are protecting ourselves. It's about self-preservation. And what they're going to do, they're going to use the military and other resources to basically ensure that their interests, each country interest, is protected.
A very lovely overview of what the situation is there in the Caribbean. Due to time restrictions, I want to have another question towards Norman Floyd Barnes. Of course, it's not just the Latin American countries, which include Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay, and the rest of the nations that comprise of these continents. One can imagine a United States of Latin America happening because of the actions of United States. But however, I want to talk about and ask you a question regarding Greenland. Greenland's Prime Minister said on Sunday that the island nation's future would not be shaped by social media posts in response to an image showing it covered in a US flag with the caption, "Soon." This is definitely a very dangerous remark to make. What are the steps that you are hearing? When Donald Trump took office, immediately he had said that he would be capturing Greenland, if not purchasing Greenland at any means necessary. By doing so, is he making sure that the midterm elections may not be in his favor? I want to ask this question to Norman Floyd Barnes.
Well, right now, the results of the midterm election is irrelevant. The process has already started. Whatever happens is going to happen regarding Congress. Right now, Congress hasn't been advised on anything going on. They're coming back right now, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. No one has briefed them. No one has consulted them. No one has trusted them. So nothing is going to be done. Nothing can be done really because the genie is out the bottle. It's already started. He mentioned about Greenland. He's brought it up again. He has a plan for Greenland. And the Danish government need to understand that he has a plan. Denmark is part of NATO. So look at the situation we're dealing with now with NATO. What is our relationship going to be with NATO? We have basically requested that NATO up their security so they can take care of Europe. We are moving away from Europe.